All right. So today we're talking about percent proportion equations. And again, we're doing proportions. A proportion is where we have a fraction equal to a fraction. And that makes it really, really easy to solve because we can solve by cross multiplying. There are many ways to solve these equations, but I think that using the proportion is a really nice way. So I have a few things I want to remind you. That percent is a very literal word. It means per cent. All right, it's literally per and cent. And when we think of the word cent, like 47 cents, how many cents are in a dollar? 100, yeah. So when we say cent, like century is 100 years, 100 pennies, 100 cents, all right, make a dollar. And so per cent literally means per 100, okay? It is a fraction. And so if you see something like 43 per cent, that literally translates directly to a fraction 43 over 100. And this is something that's going to be really useful. If you see that word percent, you have a fraction, and that's 1/2 of your little proportion equation. So it's really, really nice. Now, some other keywords you want to look out for, depending on the problem and the wording. A proportion is really just giving us a part out of a whole. And so here, percent means we got 43 parts out of 100. And all we're doing is setting up the part to the whole in comparison to the percent number out of 100. It's a part to whole comparison, and that's really all we're doing. Some other keywords that you might see are like is and of. So we have, again, equal to whatever percent out of 100. And so we have two little proportions that we're going to pay attention to today, looking to set up. So what percent, use a percent proportion to solve each problem. Again, I want to see the setup, ladies and gentlemen. You should be getting good at writing proportions and cross multiplying. We've been doing it so much. All right, so here we go. It says 18 is what percent of 40? You'll notice I'm circling some key words for you. They're telling me that 18 is, that matches here, out of 40, and so I have 18 out of 40 right off the bat, just using my little key words to pick out. 18 is what percent? So equal to what percent? That's what we're trying to figure out of 100. If we're trying to find a percent, that's some number out of 100. And so this is our really easy setup. How do we solve for the percent? Cross multiply, absolutely. So we can cross multiply this. 40 times p is 40p equals 100 times 18, which is 1800. And then what do we need to do? Divide by 40. Divide by 40, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, let's write some stuff down. 1800 divided by 40 is 45. So it is 45%. 18 is 45% out of 40. All right, let's look at number 3. No, let's look at number 2. Let's see, again, it's asking what percent. So that's us trying to figure out the percent. Let's see, I have an of 75 is 80. Let's see, what should go on top there? 80. 80 has the is out of 75. Ladies and gentlemen, little bit of math here. Should our percent be more than 100 or less than 100? More. It's out of 75. 80 is more than that, right? So it should be over 100%. It's bigger than the 75, so it should be over 100%. All right, so again, we're trying to figure out the percent out of 100. So there's our easy peasy setup. And we can cross multiply. 75 times P is 75P equals 80 times 100 is 8,000. And then we need to divide by 75. So easy. So P equals 8,000 divided by 75 is 106.6 repeating. What fraction is 0.6 repeating? 9. It has a 9, so it is like 6 over 9. Anytime you repeat, it is over 9. So you're right. What is 6 over 9 reduced? 2/3. So this is 106 and 2/3% for P. 106 and 2/3. But either answer works. Okay, let's see. Number 3. What is 30% of 15? This is kind of interesting. We have a what is, we don't know. And then we have an of 15. And we have 30%. What should I do with the 30%? Can I turn that into a fraction? Yeah, what is the fraction for 30%? Yeah, 43% is 43 over 100. So 30% is 30 out of 100. And this one is saying, hey, what is, we don't know, and then of 15, where should the 15 go? Bottom, yeah, the of goes on the bottom, out of is the way to think about it, out of 15. What goes on top? X, yeah, we don't know. Whatever the part is, yeah, we don't know. Something out of 15 is equivalent to 30 out of 100. All right, and what do we do? Cross multiply. So easy here. So we have 100x equals 15 times 30, which is 450. Oops, 450. And then we divide by 100, which is 4.5. All right. Questions so far? Was this pretty easy? Yeah. Pretty easy? All right, let's do number 5. All right, number 5 says 28 is, we have a 4%. 28 is of what number? Let's see, I have my little fraction, and then I have my percent side. What should I fill in here? What can we do for 4%? 4 over 100, very good, 4 over 100. And then this says 28 is something of what number? Where does the 28 go? Top. 28 is something out of a particular number. Out of, we don't know, so we're going to call it X. All right, we're going to cross multiply to solve. 4 times X is 4X, and 28 times 100 is 2,800. And we can divide by 4, so we get X equals 700. These kind of questions show up on the SAT all the time. All right. Pretty easy? Do we need some more? No. No? You're okay with that? Let's turn the page. All right, let's do a couple applications here. A book collector has 425 books. 56% were published prior to 1900. 56% is a little more than half. Okay, a little more than half of his books were published prior to 1900. How many books were published prior to 1900? Let's see. I have to set up a proportion here. What can I do with that 56%? 56 over 100, sure. 56 out of 100, percent. 56% per 100. So there's one side. He has 425 books. That would be the total amount that he has. He has a whole amount of 425 books, and we want to figure out how many were published before that 1900. So there's our setup for this problem. Pretty easy there. Okay, so this is sort of out of 425 books. Let's see, we can cross multiply. 100 times x is 100x. And let's see, 425 times 56 is 23,800. And I can divide by 100. Very easy. X equals 238. 238 books. So a little more than half. All right. Let's look at number 14. 12 of 28 dogs at the shelter are purebred. What percent of the dogs are purebred? All right, so I have one side of my fraction and the other side of my proportion. How should I set this up? $12 on top. What goes on bottom? Of 28. We have 12 out of 28. That's how I like to think about it. 12 out of 28. And then what are we trying to figure out? The percent. So that's the top number out of 100. All right. Do I need to cross multiply that, or can you do it? You can do it, right? The setup is the important part? Okay. So you could finish that up. Let's look at number 18. Let's look at number 18. Jenna found that 15% of the Skittles in a bag were purple. If there were 60 Skittles in the bag, how many were purple? All right, we've got a left side and a right side. What can we fill in our proportion? What can I do with the 15%? Over 100. 15 over 100, because percent is over 100. Now, 60 Skittles. Is that the part or is that the whole? The whole. Yeah, it's the whole bag. So 60 Skittles is the whole bag there. There were 60 Skittles in the bag. And we want to know how many of those were purple. And it should be equivalent to 15% there. All right, and from there you can cross multiply very easily from there on. Cross multiply itself. Do you have questions for me? All right, cool. Hey, 15.